you're the clientele.
Well, it's also just you see people's dandruff on the salad bar. Like you see things that have fallen off the face of a substitute teacher who's looking at things on the dark web he shouldn't. It's a real portal into hell.
Yeah.
Ruby Tuesdays has become a portal into hell. Ditto a lot of those, like a lot of those restaurants when we were growing up, like Fridays, it was like the place to be.
Yeah.
And then we got a little more conscious. We're like, oh, the people here are like making slave wages. They're all on drugs. They're all on
the recession destroyed all because it destroyed. It. That was like a perfect they were like all those were just funded by the middle class.
That's right.
And then everything kind of shifted.
And it was a good place to eat.
Yeah.
Like if you went to Fridays or Houlihan's or something.
You know what's actually kind of on the way back?
Yeah.
Specifically the Applebee's on Fulton.
Okay.
In Bedford.
Well, that's a good. I know that Applebee's in the mall.
It's in Restoration Plaza on Fulton. The one in the mall, the one in like the downtown Atlantic, that one's dog shit.
Oh, okay.
The one in Restoration Plaza, pretty good.
Yeah, and they're coming back.
And there's always a fight. You can always watch a fight happen.
There's always something good.
Yeah, I watched a woman just beating the shit out of her son there.
Yeah, how old was he?
Probably 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, just slapping the back of his head.
I saw that at an IHOP once. I saw a woman just really.
My girlfriend was like, I feel so bad for him. It's like, you think? He's being beaten.
He's being beaten. But let's not.
What do you mean you feel so bad for him?
Let's not let that like ruin the resurgence of Applebee's.
He's just watching Schindler's List and being like, that movie made me sad.
It's like, oh my God, why?
Yeah,
I saw a kid get really pummeled in a IHOP. To where it was uncomfortable, to where people were like getting like uncomfortable. Like
she's just beating him with all the syrups.
Well, the kid like stopped screaming. You know what I mean? Like he was getting hit so much, he like just started taking it, like and then he just stopped.
Yeah,
and then it just kept beating him.
You know, I feel like
you can't get involved.
I fully transitioned to being a New Yorker like 4 years ago, and it was the last time I lost any sense of being a good Samaritan. After this event, but I saw a woman just choke slamming her mentally retarded son against the window of the train and like just like screaming on the phone like, you better come get your son. Boop, whatever, just over and over again. And she's like, it's like the, like what, like just very sweet, kind, not like an aggressive kind. This poor kid, she was just tired and fed up, and I feel bad for this lady. Who knows what her fucking situation is?
No, she's the one to feel bad for in the story,
and him. I mean,
everybody's at fault.
It's just fucked up. And so like,
she didn't ask for that.
I made the mistake of going over being like, ma'am, like please, and then she's like, fuck you, got mad at me or whatever. And then I said, eventually she calmed down. She stopped hitting him, and then they got off the train. Well, and I go say, some old Puerto Rican guy is like, you shouldn't have said anything. And it's like, what do you mean I shouldn't have said? It's like, well, I guess you're right. And
well, so that's his wisdom.
Now I know.
That's that old Puerto Rican New York wisdom of he said, well, Doug Smith, who was a comic in New York, funny guy.
Yeah, not only he told me I shouldn't have said anything, but then he proceeded to tell me stories about beating people up. Right, who disrespected him.
Oh, interesting.
And he had a Puerto Rican like hat on also.
He's like, I would have killed that retard.
Just so I make sure I know who I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Doug Smith was a comic. He defended a woman getting like attacked violently on the subway by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Doug Smith got slashed across the face with a knife. He has a scar from his ear to his mouth.
Yeah.
He went to court. Guess who shows up to provide character witness testimony for the slasher?
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson. And the fucking girl he saved.
Really?
The girl he saved showed up at court and was like, and Doug Smith, he had like a joke about it where he's like, if I see her again, I'll rape her. But he was like, wait a minute, what? Like she showed up, I was like, yeah, this guy, it wasn't his fault, he didn't mean the slash. And like Doug Smith, like
he didn't mean the slash.
Yeah, Doug Smith has a permanent scar.
Yeah,
because he tried to help this woman on the train.
Yeah, he looks like the guy from fucking Sons of Anarchy.
Permanent scar. He looks kind of cool with it. Like it works with him. But it's still like you got to be very careful about what you decide to step into. Because I'm so happy that I feel completely justified never stepping into anything.
Never step in anything.
Ever.
It's 9/11 firefighters.
Yeah.
Suckers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So the best thing, and I've told the story before, we had a guy on the tour guides in New York are all sick people. And I was one of them. And one guy was like this little Italian guy, little bald guy, and he just got really fired up. He'd always get fired up around 9/11. And like no, it's going the other way though. He's on the top of the tour bus and all these, like,
how did that become theirs? I don't understand that. How did 9/11 become just for Italians?
Yeah, I don't know. They took it.
It took like 4 years and like, this is ours.
Yeah, it was an assault.
Right.
It was an assault on San Gennaro.
Actually, that's for the community.
Yeah, it's for everyone.
It's for everybody. Yeah. You're fucking just grabbing all the pennies out of the tray.
So this guy goes, there's like all these Dutch people on the bus, and everybody's like, oh, the firefighters, they go, one Dutch guy goes, and this set him off. He goes, can we just see any firehouse? Because the heroism, like he can barely speak English. He's like, the heroism of the firefighters. He goes, that's all a fucking lie. He goes, those firefighters were cowards because they were running out of those buildings. He goes, and the horror on the faces of like the tourists.
Yeah, some guy whose entire life has been cuckoo clocks and sobs until his one trip to New York.
Yeah. He goes, that's all a lie. They were running out of those buildings. He goes, nobody would run into a burning building. Like the tour guide was saying this, and as he was saying it, like the Dutch guy, you could see the wheels in his head like kind of going, and the tour guide goes, who would run into a burning building?